What does God look like? A vernacular, a fern that lived the V for vendetta and put an end to the Dracula. Misspelt, but to be rewritten instead with just colour. We swap to give connection with our vows, a mistaken W to house our misfortune and reassemble it as new art, redrawn and reborn, in the same life as a new wife, our history for his story. Hi Tony, I didn't get to see you at the event because I got ushered into the wrong space and then I got chatting to so many people, so I wanted to leave you this message just to get in touch with you about this particular amazing platform that's going to transform the world. And I hope you enjoyed the drawings. One's inspired by our favourite mentor, Holly Schlashler, and I hope you got the little poem. It said, it had a swan, a picture of a swan on the back, and you were to pass it on to anyone. Hopefully they got to pass it on. It said, command the swan, move with purpose, gift with grace. No happenstance, instead a stance to make it happen. No coincidence, instead a co-formed in incidents. An occurrence of willed partnership in good faith. Combined to share, amen. And my other little gifts, these are vegan, really healthy. It's really hard to find any chocolate stuff that's actually really good for you and good for the soul because you feed people all around the world. This is my gift of gratitude, one of many. I want you to really sit with it and share it with people, particularly Tracy. I sat down, had a chat with her as well, your chiropractor, she's amazing. Share it with them and really enjoy the moment. And this one first. It's so good. A little poppy seeds and orange in it. And sitting that value, because food is love, it's how we nourish ourselves. But it's also how we encompass our value. Because it creates our being. The other one. These are 2 Australian products. Panachok is unbelievable. This one, I want you to eat on your own because sometimes you just got to treat yourself and sit there and I guess have a time with God and really flesh out our purpose and what we need to do and essentially the people we need to influence in order to bring about change in a world that he would love to live in himself. Yeah. Anyway, this one, and there's usually, I'll leave it as a surprise, there's little pictures on them, but this one is absolutely delicious and you have to get the mint one, even though the other ones look really enticing. The mint one is unreal. I don't know why, it's so good. Oh, it's a little hat. That's something I find you really do with people. You inspire that blossoming of the heart to get them moving and engaged and interacting with not only their business but with people around them. And essentially I do it in a different way, similar, but I get them creating and pulling creativity and really honing in on that self-worth and that value. So the reason why I've compiled this video is for 2 reasons, particularly with this platform, which is going to be the largest profit per purpose. I've designed the platform so that essentially it's the power of the people, it's for everybody. It's the first platform which will be in the top 1% of the world's world. And I'll give you the background of this story. I want 2 things, advocacy and investment. Essentially, I don't mind where it's housed. All I know is it's going to make the most incredible impact on the world, unlike anything. And this is what I've worked so hard at orchestrating and pulling apart and unpacking and making connections with organizations and people all around the world and schools and everything, you name it. I have literally flesh this out as much as I can, and this is why sometimes it's so frustrating because I can't believe what has happened, but I know what has happened for a reason in order for me to go down so many avenues where I just explore improvements and improvements for systems and situations that are actually going to leave people both homeless, hungry, and completely desolate in a number of years, particularly if there's a collapse of the financial system, which there will be, and I've experienced all of this on every level. So how did I begin this journey? As a teacher, a qualified teacher, I quit my job and decided to do homeless picnics on the streets and use my skills in order to do mindfulness meditation, but also I guess just connect with people, not just homeless people, but I called them heart moors instead of homeless because they have more heart. And essentially to connect with anyone on the streets. I did traveling as well, and I called it an I Am Light series. And ultimately, I did this for 4 months and then had a real tragic thing happen. I had bank fraud on my account. I lost over 80k, had my legs crushed, had documents stolen from my house, keys, whole bunch of stuff. Had my car tampered with on several occasions, and then I had to chase this for 8 months. And so I sat down and I was like, how do I turn this into a positive? Because I was just so broken, and I knew that I didn't want anyone to experience anything like this again. So I sat down and I fleshed out this idea to be able to create this platform. Not only does it prevent bank fraud, but it's also incentivized reviews and building up that interaction that they have with their customers on every purchase, which is also better than any marketing. So instead of doing marketing, I call it blind marketing, where people are just essentially throwing out all these ads, hoping that people click on them and make purchases. All right, so my achievements, let's go down that avenue. So essentially, I'm known for writing poetry on people all around the world. So they give me any 2 words and share their story with me, and this is where I began my engagement, I guess, as almost like a life coach. I still get messages to this day from people on Facebook about things that they have achieved in the time that, I mean, it's been many, many years now since I had that conversation with them, and I just met them willy-nilly on the bus or on the street or in a venue, and it's just so incredible when I get that feedback consistently. And so I also, from these, I ended up running exhibitions around the world. I do live art. So I did live art on stage with massive electronic music acts, and started running my own little exhibitions globally. And I did that just out of love and the people that I met. And I have drawn artworks for celebrities, politicians, a lot of people all around the world, and I write them letters about all the beautiful aspects that I find about not only their features, but what I feel it sort of enlivens about their personality. And so really bringing in that sort of connection in terms of creativity and showing their self, and showing worth. Ultimately, my goal has always been in life to have everyone around the world to have a portrait of themselves, so they see themselves as art. And also to be able to eat incredible healthy chocolate and feel that blessing, that love, not just from the external but from internally. I mean, it's the greatest expression, or a real simple expression actually, of what God is, because God is internal and he brings out the external on our mission. And when we find our mission, we have to stick by it no matter the challenge. And I feel that this is what this platform is for me. And I also taught in London for 2 years at a really, really difficult school. And these kids were in the bottom 3% of all schools in London. And I went in there and they were throwing chairs at me, swearing at me, horrible things. And I was super positive, created a super positive environment, and didn't I didn't ever raise my voice at them, and they used to sit in their tests and go, oh, Miss Smith believes in me, in order for them to do the test. And in a year I used to do morning booster class and afternoon booster class for free out of my own time, and I taught them through poetry and sort of physical learning, kinesthetic learning. And then within a year they went from 35% combined maths and English to 82% combined maths and English. It was really phenomenal. I was just in tears by the end of the year knowing these kids. I remember this little girl, Brittany, got up on stage and she was like, thank you to Miss Smith, because now I can be a doctor. And I was like, oh, bless. It was really beautiful. And then I was sponsored by Triumph Motorcycles just because I painted a big pub in Brixton, but then this man came up and he wanted me to paint his jerk chicken shop, and I was like, yeah, sure, okay. We're going through prices, and he was like, I want you to paint a homeless man. And I was like, oh, that's weird. Okay, sure, I'll do that. And why is that? And he's told me that he actually feeds homeless people for free and he doesn't get any funding from the government. So I said, look, I'll do this for you for free. I will happily help you out. And I got the paints together, and between 3 and 9 a.m. in the morning is the only time that it's closed, and it was freezing. So I got up 2 nights in a row and did this massive mural of a homeless man eating, and then a little picket on the side saying, I'm homeless, not heartless, because it's got a heart. He had a heart, holding a heart in the hand, I think it was his hand. And I'm homeless, not heartless, thanks for caring. And this woman, this is the reason why I do everything that I do, this woman came up to me and she was just blown away, and she was like, wow, this is so beautiful, thank you so much. She's like, what can I get for you? And I said, oh no, I'm fine. And she kept going on and on and on, and then she went inside and I spoke to someone and he was like, oh, she's homeless, like you don't actually know who is and who isn't. And I'm like, oh, okay. And she came out and she gave me her food, and I feel this is a story for you. She gave me her food, and I have never ever forgotten that. She gave me her everything just because I had created art. And for me, I was so emotional, and I get so emotional about that story all the time. The man Martin, he actually sung a song for me. He's this Jamaican man. He actually sung this really beautiful song at the end of it, which I have like a little video of. It's just a really beautiful moment, and all my friends came down and we shared in the experience. And I promised from that day forward that I would hopefully be able to do something for that woman who I will find, who gave me her everything. It's so funny because I was born in 1987, so essentially a year before I was born you started your full program, your seminars, and also 3 years later Nelson Mandela was released. And I just think it's so funny because they knew that if they didn't release him, I would have come even when, just as a newborn. I was definitely born for a reason. I made a promise that I would spend, and I haven't shared my full story, but I'd promise, even through God, I'd promised Nelson Mandela that I'd spend 27 years, the 27 years that he lost, fulfilling things that he wasn't able to achieve. And that's what I want to do via my platform. And I'm not political at all. I've never been political, but I know how to do things. I know how to work through business and through people and connecting with them. That's why it's so funny. I haven't chased up any of this legally. I know I've got so much incredible evidence, but I haven't chased it up because my money's for a purpose. I mean, I saved up all that money because I initially wanted to purchase properties overseas, 20 to 30,000 euros. I could purchase these properties as little retreat centres and have Street Kids sponsored to go over, and I had CEOs over in the UK ready to actually build them into horticultural centres and have these sort of safe spaces for people to be able to enliven their spirit and connect with their purpose without any judgment or, having to live by their story of homelessness or pain or hardship or refugees as well, and intermingling with travellers. And anyway, I promised that I'd spend the next 27 years of my life creating peace and respect amongst the people through, and just providing resources for people to have the same opportunities as other people, which is why I really value what you do as well. And I didn't want to waste my money on chasing people for their mindlessness. I think that they need to hold themselves accountable for their actions, and I know through God that they will. I know that there will come a time where, I'm going to advocate for a truth court. That's all I want. And ultimately, I feel like people in the business world need to hold themselves accountable. I mean, we need to collaborate and to share in order to progress. And that's what I'm so passionate about, and I want to do via this platform. And it was so funny because and making that choice, I then come to something like Platinum Partnerships, and it's just enough, even though it's all my life savings, to be able to not only do my mission work, but also be a part of your vision, and learn from you, and work with you, and also the other business people. I want to get them, just really subtle things, writing little notes and letters that I then can take, maybe even poetry with them. Some are good with it, some are not. Little illustrations I can then take to little communities, and I will learn from the communities. They'll teach me things, and I can go teach that to people, and a whole bunch of learning through everyone, and that's what I want to do. And months of me complaining about the fact I couldn't log into anywhere, I couldn't do anything, I was completely immobilized. The whole correlation of the event, I had to then chase up for the next 8 months, and I didn't know how to turn it into a positive. And that's everything that I've ever done, is turn everything into a positive. But my heart was crushed, and I didn't know how to break out of that. I need to feel safe, and it was that safety that I really needed to create within myself. So I tried to create a platform at the time, and to actually prevent bank fraud from all the research that I'd done, and it actually was a lot simpler than I thought. And from that, at school I write positive statements for all my students, and also improvement suggestions that align with sharing their light and their creativity and their passions, whilst angling it into business as well, and not just what they learn at school, the standard subjects, but branching out into what society needs, the needs of society, making that lucrative for them, and being able to engage with business, not just, because everything is business these days, not just the creativity. I shared this with the CEO, and who I was friends with at the time, and he knew how intelligent I was in terms of engaging with people and fleshing out ideas, and he kept in contact with me. But little did I then find out that that was because he took the platform and sent it over to the US, and it got backdated, the patent in the US, fraudulently, and I've had to chase that up for the past 6 months. And now I've just come up with something brand new, which is even better. So that's God's grace working at heart. But I was heartbroken because it popped up, and it was via this woman on Forbes 30 Under 30 with my platform, and someone that had worked for him previously. And I was like, whoa, because my platform is literally going to be I understand, I get it. Profit, I understand the business world, I do. And I'm honestly not someone who cares or judges about that. I think it's great that people are fulfilling their purpose and getting so much money out of what they do. But my purpose is to create something that is for everybody, and to bring everyone up to the same level, but to have the same rights and the same resources to be able to live a fruitful life. That's God's purpose, and that's something I've always wanted to do. And I've gone from doing my picnics to then having all this horrible stuff happen, to then having this incredible platform that's gifted to me just by thought and by happenstance. And now I want to be able to infiltrate that into countries all around the world. All the funds will be allocated by the people that write the reviews, both locally and abroad. And I've created this whole system. I've fleshed it out perfectly. But the internet has been useless for me. Since the hack, it just knows. Google knows. It knows that I'm on. All my emails, everything, nothing works. I have not just my website. I have there's 5 other people. Their websites are not, and they got in trouble for it. Their websites were not even found in Google Ads, even when you search them. They got fined billions of dollars for that. And my it didn't even exist. I have this website that's just floating in the middle of nowhere. I don't even know where it is. Not only that, but my emails that I sent out to a whole bunch of investors and everything, and follow-ups, all of them just never got responded to. And it wasn't until then I then wrote to this woman, Forbes 30 Under 30. She didn't respond to me, but months and months later I wrote again. It was lovely, but I was just asking what's going on because I have no idea. And then suddenly I'm getting, I send out emails and I'm getting contact back again, which is really amazing, and I've made so many connections. But that has made me then realize that we need an ethical internet. So out of hardship again, I've had to create something that I know is going to be really incredible for people in a real safe space. Creating a real safe space that they know is validated and authenticated on the internet, and is actually really easy to do. So not only have I created this whole system that is wonderful, promotes artists in a really incredible way, lucrative way, and really empowering way, unlike any other platform out there, best marketing platform, and then also the internet itself, creating a safe space both for schools and for education and also business that is authenticated, and people know that they're engaging with real people, real places, and I think that is the most incredible value. There's so many other little bits as well. I'm a huge advocate for people with disabilities, and it broke my heart watching this show on how it's really hard for them to get jobs, and I know a really clever way to be able to integrate them into the workplace and into technology and really empower people all over the world. Power the people. It's actually really ironic. Someone pointed this out to me, but my art over the past 7 years is very prophetic. It actually has showcased that all these horrendous things that have happened to me. It's like I predicted them through my exhibitions, and particularly through Cuba as well, the one that I had. Very poignant, very fascinating, and of course art, for any artist, it really connects with their story and is very insightful, whether it be the past or the future. We don't realize that our minds actually connect with God's divine purpose, and that he shows us exactly where we need to go through things. At the moment, sometimes I lie and I always watch the clouds, and he shows me my parts of my story and things that I need to learn. You know, even when you read the Bible as well, he does that. He shows you the truths that you need to kind of connect with, and to empower you, or to pull you out of really difficult situations. And he's doing that at the moment with clouds. It would blow you away, and I'll share them with you someday. Like, I even wrote to Ellen, and it was really strange, and I didn't even get a confirmation. I wrote several times, and she would love what I do. And like Jay Shetty and every motivational speaker I've ever connected with or known, and man, I've got friends all around the world, people in really wonderful high places, and I was wondering why I just wasn't getting anything, and it's really strange. And then suddenly all I had to do was send off another email, got a little bit of clarification there, and then just my whole internet system suddenly is, not all of it, like I still can't make purchases. If it's in my name, I have to get somebody else to do it. Like, let it go, different time and space. But yeah, so I don't want anyone to have to go through this, but there's a solution. And so I leave you with two things, and this is what I do in my meetings. I'm very passionate about this. So two things: people can come to a meeting with their needs, and then we work out solution, and then we negotiate upon them. So whatever your needs are, and the solutions to them, and that's where I start, and that's where we go. Two things. And then the whole world can feel good with building blocks of recycled paper. Recycled building blocks, so that we can make a difference with the stars in between. This is actually from a film clip. It's got Ed Sheeran in it and one of my closest friends, so I did it as a favour. And I would love to continue that theme of feeling good around the world. We're not part of a dwell world anymore. We're a global space, and that global space holds accountability, and that is where I'm sitting, and I'm not budging. And I am so excited about what this world can be to so many people. No, I'm so excited about how we can actually put in actionable steps to make an actually viable difference instead of having to do little creeping little bits here, there and everywhere. 27 years. You see what we can do. I can do it in 3, but then the rest of it is going to be even better. But 3 is what I'm holding myself to, but 27 years in the long run. And this is a beautiful little ukulele from a man in Greece when I was doing an exhibition, and his most incredible wife who survived brain tumours out of her 9 brain tumours in her brain, and she just rebuilt the faculties of her mind. Incredible, powerful story, and he gifted me this because I was sharing it, helping them raise funds for him, and he wants to create these for sick children all around the world. I meet the most incredible people with so many stories. I changed it from stories on their arms to now songs for stories. And I can't wait to share that with you and everyone. And the birds. So grateful to be able to talk to you, and thank you for taking the time. Really appreciative, and I hope you can be a part of the vision. Sure, for all, a unique, influential, God's country speaking loquaciously, value identified as just one, held by the hope of his Son. He contemplates the truth of connection, lining up to fill structures of man with his words. His high priests building foundations for relationships, returning their crews from the sea. Instead, knowing God and just resting their eyes. For a new community sprouting, where communication is centered in Christ, a speech that teaches the syndicate. The divine has spoken, shared a spare, a provision all seen, to multiply the same heart. For the Lord's resplendency is a restored plan, dancing among his people. A new heaven woven for wonder. He lives